And here he is, Jake Trotter on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline, ESPN Big 12 Insider. Jake, welcome back to the show.
Good to be back on. How you guys doing?
Well, we're feeling
Better.
optimistic after yesterday as BYU fans and members of the BYU media, but more importantly, how do you feel about BYU and their potential inclusion, their hopeful inclusion in the Big 12?
Yeah, I mean, they have to be as optimistic as anybody who's available out there. I mean, I think BYU, the strength of the football program, the following, the fan base, the stadium, facilities, all of that, I think makes BYU a strong contender. I mean, there's no clear front runner, number one front runner, but I would put BYU in the top tier, the clear top tier, and we'll see what happens. I mean, the conference is going to be looking at a number of factors, and I think BYU scores pretty well in all of them, with the exception of location, which I think is the big negative, and then the Olympic sport issue with BYU not playing on Sundays.
Are you hearing that the conference wants to hit certain TV markets or expand the time zone or whatnot? Because if a team like UConn's being thrown out there, then certainly a team like BYU could be in the mix because that's out of the time zone, right?
Yeah, well, the Big 12 is technically in the Eastern time zone with West Virginia, and I mean, Connecticut to West Virginia is not exactly close, but at least the Mountaineers would have somebody in the same time zone. But I mean, I don't think Connecticut's proximity is a strength for them either in terms of the distance between the school and the bulk of the Big 12. Now, Connecticut, is connected to the northeastern media market, particularly New York. So that could be seen as something that could bolster their candidacy compared with the media markets that BYU might bring to the table. But again, I mean, I think if you're just basing this on the strength of a football program, which I think gained a little bit more pop when the idea of a conference network went away at the meeting a couple of months ago, where media market really would have been key because you need eyeballs in order to get a network off the ground. With that off the table, I mean, I think the strength of a football program and the perception that it could bring to the Big 12 from a football vantage point is really the number one factor. And you guys know, I mean, BYU's got to be at the top of the list. They've won the 7th most games in college football since 1980. They won the 84 national championship. They've kicked Oklahoma and Texas around here over the last few years. So BYU, to me, is the number one football program out there. Is that going to be enough? We're about to find out here, I think, in the next couple of months.
ESPN Big 12 insider Jake Trotter with us on BYU Sports Nation. We just talked to Brett McMurphy, and he said he was shocked by the news yesterday. What was your reaction to everything that came out after that board of directors meeting?
I was, the morning of, I had begun to hear things that led me to believe this was a possibility. So I wasn't stunned when the announcement came out, but if you had asked me Sunday if that would have happened, I would have told you that there was very little chance. So I had the benefit of being there and talking to people who, were connected to those meetings, and so I think I had a better maybe sense of it than other people who weren't in Dallas. But I mean, if you look at it in the context of going into the week, if you thought there was any chance that they were going to vote to pursue expansion candidates, I would have given it 15% chance maybe, and that might have been optimistic.
This auction style for the Big 12 in expansion is interesting to me. I could see a situation where you have a team like Memphis that says, listen, we won't take any money for 4 years, and then we want to be full, and we'll give you X amount million just for fun or something through FedEx. I don't know. This could be really crazy, right?
It could be. I asked somebody about that a couple of months ago. Would it be a situation where the school that agrees to fork over, the most TV money would be the most attractive? And the answer I got was that, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but, the Big 12 wants these potential expansion members to feel like they're part of something, like they're part of the conference. Big 12 unity has been something the league has really tried to commit to here over the last year. I mean, and we've seen it in action. I mean, unanimous vote to bring back a championship game, and now a unanimous vote to pursue expansion. I mean, for the Big 12, that's a huge step. So I think that obviously, they want to get as much money as they can for the current members, but I also don't think they want to get into a situation where they're basically ostracizing their new members by taking all of their TV money for a number of years. So there's going to be a balance, I think, in between. It's not going to be a situation where, like you said, like a Memphis or a Cincinnati, they come in and no TV money for 8 years, until the end of the grant or right contracts. I don't think that's something the Big 12 will do. But I mean, let's face it, the Big 12 has all the leverage in this situation because of the supply, which is not very high, 2 teams, 4 teams potentially, and the demand, which is enormous, with as many as 10 Group of 5 members that are going to be angling to get into the Big 12 conference.
You mentioned the 2 or 4 number. If you had to guess on the expansion and how big the conference will grow, what's it going to be? Is it going to be 2 teams to get to 12 or maybe 4 to get out to 14 like some of the other power conferences?
I think 2 is more likely, but 4 is definitely on the table. That was reiterated to me yesterday that 4 is a possibility, and I don't know how realistic. I asked Bowlesby, point blank, have any Power 5 schools contacted you? And he would not answer the question, and I think he was asked about it on the teleconference as well. And I have not come across any correspondence or anything like that connecting the Big 12 to a Power 5 school. But that's going to be something I think the Big 12 is really going to look into. Is Arizona State? Is there any interest there? This new ACC network deal, have the contracts been signed on the grant of rights? Is there a chance to make another run at a Clemson or Florida State? And I think that's obviously the longest of shots. But the Big 12 is going to want to do its due diligence. And if you look at the case of 4, the pro rata jumps from the existing TV deal make it somewhat worthwhile. So so many people around the league are surprised that the Big 12 is taking this step, that there's really not a sense of what the institutional opinions are going to be, not only about the decision to actually expand, but who are the members going to be. So Bowlesby's been given the authority to begin negotiating with these schools, and he'll have the opportunity to come back and really reveal what's on the table from every school, and maybe possibly if there's any interest at all from a disgruntled Power 5 member out there.
Jake, great to talk to you as always, ESPN Big 12 Insider. I'm sure we will be talking to you again in the very near future about when all of this may go down.
Yeah, I think it's going to be sooner rather than later, so it's going to be a fun couple of months in places like Provo, Utah.
You got it. Thanks, Jake.
All right, guys.
Jake Trotter on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, your values, your timeline, your financial future.